Welcome to a Second Chance at Life podcast. I'm the host, Arvilla Beckworth, and welcome to another interview. This week, I'm talking about mental roadblock. How many of you are you guilty about saying what if, imposter syndrome, or even being negative to yourself? Well, today I got the GOAT herself. So let me bring my girl on, LaShana.
Hey
Hey,
guys,
LaShana, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Would you mind just spending a second and letting us know who you are and what you do?
Sure. So, my name is LaShana West. I'm a business therapist and mindset coach, and I work with entrepreneurs to help them pinpoint the mindset blocks that are stopping them from scaling so they can live a thriving life.
Love it. And you being a mindset coach and a business therapist, you specialize in many things. The one thing that I can attest to is that you are the GOAT at mental blocks, clarity, and self awareness.
Thank you.
Why do you think we struggle with our mindset?
Yeah, so very loaded question, right? However, at the end of the day, I believe that mindset is mental health. If you think about it, the way I see things, the way I perceive the world, that's due off of my upbringing, my childhood, what happened for me, because it's not what happened to me. And when I kind of accumulate all of those thoughts and feelings, that makes up my mindset. And so if I have a pessimistic mindset, a negative mindset, a wavering mindset, it didn't just happen yesterday. It happened of from everything that I've experienced in my life. And that's kind of how I've created how I see the world. But one cool thing about it is you can change it at any moment. So mindset is very flexible, it's very moldable. And that's exactly why I do what I do, because there's some hope at the end of the tunnel.
Mhm. That it is. And that's the one thing you've always pointed out to me when I have those mental roadblocks. You always said that there is hope. You always came with something positive at the end of it, where I was
Mhm.
already starting with the negative. You're like, change your mind frame. But why? But
Yep.
why? But why? And I was like, "Man, I ain't got no more whys. I don't know."
But it's funny. We immediately say, I don't know, I don't got no more. Yeah, we do. We have to dig deeper. It's scary. If someone says, how you doing? We immediately say, I'm good. Are
Hmm.
you really good? I'm
Yeah.
tired. I'm sad. I'm weak. I'm scared. We don't want to be vulnerable. So when we take time to do our inner work and our deep work, and I call it 10x the why, you see that we've been addressing surface causes when we really need to address the root cause.
That's it. And the one thing that I noticed I struggled with in the beginning of starting my business is imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
That is one biggie for me. And I never really could understand what it meant, but I knew when I heard the description, I knew that's what I was struggling with. And a
Yeah.
lot of women that I've talked to, it's almost the same thing. And it's like, how can we as women overcome imposter syndrome, or what steps can we take?
Great question. So let me first explain what it is, because we hear this little word in these internet streets and these clubhouse streets, and sometimes we're just picking up this verbiage when we don't really know what it means. So I just want to give you the definition. Imposter syndrome is the inner critic telling you you're not enough, you don't belong at the table, and at some point, people are going to find out that you are a fraud. But this is the key with imposter syndrome: you actually are well versed in your expertise. You actually are an expert in that arena, but you keep second guessing yourself and overthinking, overanalyzing in your head. Everyone outside sees LaShana as the GOAT, sees Arvilla as the number one person for professional development and helping you get your life together. But we're still, oh my God, did they really pay me this? Oh my God, they want me to be on their podcast? So we're creating clouds of dust.
Mhm.
And I've been working with some high level CEOs, millionaires, and I'll be honest with you, nobody is exempt.
Mm.
Even the ones who we think have one that they're just doing the thing, everyone has struggled with it at some point in their life. And I think the first step, and you said, I'm the GOAT in self awareness, is being aware of what that block is. So if you are aware, you're already ahead of the curve.
And what have you noticed? What is the number one mindset block?
Yeah. So honestly, after looking at all of the data that I've collected, it would be fear, right? And so fear is very ambiguous. It's loaded as well. But at the end of the day, I'm scared to be in a relationship. I'm scared to say no to my kids. I'm scared to leave my job. I'm scared to launch this business. Why? 10x the why. So why am I scared to tell my kids no? I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want them to not like me. I don't want them to rebel. I'm scared of what the response is. We are scared of something that is out of our control. Right?
Right.
If I want to leave my job, but I'm scared, I don't know what's on the other side. I don't know if when I leave that job, I'm opening up my capacity to just 10x everything that I'm doing. If I'm scared to date because I'm dragging unresolved trauma and baggage from an old relationship, that's me wavering because of what happened to me in the past, but that does not dictate my future. So when I say fear, it's so many different levels and variables, but fear has been the number one block after looking at over thousands of information and even thinking of the clients that I've served in the past.
Now, I've always heard you talk about scarcity mindset versus successful mindset. Could you break down the difference?
Yeah. So scarcity is the what ifs. I'm trying, maybe, I don't know. It's the passive, the not taking control of your future, not using your voice, and shrinking, right? So a scarcity example could be, I'm about to launch this offer, but we'll see what happens. A success mindset is, I can't wait to launch this offer. There's so many people out here who needs what I have, and I am excited about what's to come. I still don't know what's going to happen, but I'm taking control of my thoughts to be more optimistic, more positive. And guess what? I'm manifesting a positive outcome, and it's just going to organically attract what is for me and what is not.
Okay, and I love that because I was hearing you say it, but I'm like, okay, I think I understand when she meant scarcity. And I think sometimes I come from a place of scarcity because you don't know. The what if is always the familiar to go back to, but what if it don't work? But what if they don't like me? So I love how you said, but you can change that. Successful mindset. How can you change that to, but they will like it? Not even, but they will like it.
Yes.
They
Not
will
even but.
come.
And
Yes.
they will like it.
They
but
will.
And this is the thing. And if they don't, guess what?
What?
It's not for them. We have to attract who is in alignment and repel the ones who aren't. It is positive that everybody's not rocking with you. Guess what? They're not supposed to. If they did, that means we're being fake. Everybody is not going to be resonating with this colorful background and the pops of color, right? And I know your brand colors are pink and black. Some people, that immediately tells them, no, that's not for me. Adios amigos, see ya. Thank you very much.
Right.
But I'm coming from a confident space because I know the impact that I have. And a lot of people, the second mindset block is lacking confidence. And the reason why they lack confidence is because they lack clarity. And the reason why they lack clarity is because they're not being courageous in what they truly want to do, who they truly want to be, and how they really want to show up in this world, which stems from the F word, not F-U here.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I remember you saying a positive mindset doesn't change the situation you're in, but a positive mindset changes how you perceive and how you view the situation that you're in. Yes. What do you mean by that?
So at the end of the day, I can have a positive mindset, but I'm still in a dysfunctional relationship. I can have a positive mindset, but I'm still at a job I don't like, my boss doesn't respect me, and I feel depleted. But if I perceive these situations as, okay, this is a learning opportunity, I'm going to have to be able to use my XYZ muscle to get through this. If I perceive it as, you know what, I'm going to meet another Keisha and I have to be able to provide Keisha feedback because as I grow, I can't continue to be timid in my communication. I can't continue to have blurred boundaries. So I'm seeing that current situation that is not too warm and fuzzy as an opportunity for me to learn and grow. And that alleviates that scarcity, that lack mindset, because guess who's in control?
Me.
I'm in control.
Right.
No matter the circumstance.
Right. And the main thing I see with mindset, that if you change your mindset, you can change your life. Is it really that simple?
Yes, it is definitely that simple. For those that know, my story came from a dysfunctional upbringing, both parents addicted to crack cocaine. I was running from my mom one day, fell, cracked my jaw. That moment changed the trajectory of my life. How do I see it that way? Because I changed my mindset about it. I could have said, oh
Mhm.
my God, this happened for me. I'm not going to be anything. I'm not pretty. No one wants to be with me. But instead I said, you know what? This happened for me. This is what I learned. We all have a voice, and I'm going to share with others how I was able to come through this on
Right.
top. And now I get paid to do what I was afraid to do.
Mm. Paid
Right?
to do what I was afraid to do. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. Paid to do what I'm afraid to do.
Yeah.
I
And like,
love that.
I was afraid to talk publicly in front of people. I was afraid to sing. I was afraid to share my voice because of the way I looked. Well, guess
Mhm.
what? There's somebody out there who has experienced something very similar, that's looking for someone that they can relate to. And if I don't show up, if I don't show this grit, this vigor, this persistence, then I'm not only letting myself down, but I'm letting the world down.
Now, you talked about in a reel the other day how even as a business person, if you allow traumatic events go unhealed, they
Mhm.
can affect not only your business but your personal life.
Most definitely.
Please explain.
So, and I'm debating on going to get my doctorate and
Oh.
and really do research on how unresolved trauma and those who are resilient through it are more effective business owners.
Mm-hmm.
How? Why? When you experience trauma, you have to either A, let it soak everything up into where you can't function, or you have to be able to push through, persevere, and thrive through it. Right? Think about entrepreneurship. You don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know what one day is gonna be, whether it's clients, revenue, whatever the case may be. It's so up and down, and that's why a lot of people are stressed by it, and they don't know how to maneuver through it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's very similar to dysfunctionality in your upbringing. And some may be like, well, what do you mean? So let me share with you. Growing up in the quote unquote hood, maybe lacking resources, you had to make things work.
Right.
You had to figure it out, right? In entrepreneurship, you have to figure it out. But if you were able to overcome those obstacles early on in your life and build resiliency, build persistence, build determination, entrepreneurship is not going to be as hard.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be able to, it's like, hey, I know you. It's not so much of a stranger, it's more of a friend.
Okay.
And when unresolved trauma is not addressed, we think we can compartmentalize it, put it in a cute little box, set it up on the shelf, and be like, I'll see you later. False. When you're triggered, it will come to surface.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the Will Smith situation. He didn't wake up and say, I'm going to smack Chris Rock. If you read Will Smith's book, he always felt like he wasn't able to protect the women in his life. That has been hanging over his head his whole life, from his mother to women in relationships to Jada.
Mm-hmm.
So even though they were on national TV, when that situation happened, he freaking snapped. He snapped. Do you think Will Smith really wanted to just shame his whole family, taint his name? No, but he could not control it because he is still doing his work. There's some unresolved trauma there to where he snapped.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it can impact business. And I call it bleeding while leading.
Mm.
We show up, everything's cool. We got this pretty filter, we got this pretty background. We're saying everything that we're supposed to say. We're tapping into our target market. Boop, when we turn off that live or that reel or that video, we're depleted. And there's so many reasons why. So my goal is to help us to stabilize all of that anxiety, all of those roller coaster of emotions and just show up who you truly are, how you truly are, and work through your stuff while you're working on your business. Because you don't have to be quote unquote perfect or be healed.
Yes.
First of all, that's finite, and healing is a process. It can all be happening at the same time, but when we try to just, it's almost avoidance. Well, I can't start my business till I heal. Well, I can't help her heal because I'm not healed. That's false. If she's at 0 and I'm at 1, I can help you. If you're at 5 and I'm at 7, I can help you.
Right.
Help is very ambiguous. What does that mean? I might go to this person because they have a very, very good skill set of active listening. That's all I want them to do is hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a degree, they're not making millions, but they are fully present when I talk to them. So
Right.
we have to stop basing our worth and who we are and how much money we make off of the results. No, you're good enough just the way you are.
Oh,
I know
thank
I
you.
went on a rant.
No, thank you for that. I mean, you really gave a lot of meat with that because you're right. Starting a business, being an entrepreneur, that you do have those excuses. I'm
Mhm.
not ready. I don't have this equipment. I don't have this. So you make it that way. In all
Yep.
actuality, like you said, even if that person's at the beginning step and you're at number 1, you can help.
Mhm.
So I love that you reconfirm that to me because sometimes I think I get in my own self that I'm
Mhm.
not qualified. I haven't been doing this for years, and this other coach has been doing it for 10 years, and I'm not good as her. But it's like, wait a minute, but you can help number 0.
Right. And we're comparing ourselves to an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
We're comparing ourselves to a facade. We don't know what this coach has been through, if they really made that amount of money, if those receipts are real, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the long nights, the early mornings, the unpaid bills, whatever the case may be. And that's why I say focus on you until the focus is on you.
Oh, you. I love that. I love that. And one thing I notice about me, I feel like I have to be busy in order to be productive. No matter how much I do, I don't feel like it's ever enough. Like I'm still doing something.
Yeah.
Is my mind telling me what that I should be doing more, or what is that called?
Oh, I think staying busy is a trauma response. And I've shared some content about that. What's his name? Charlemagne the God.
Oh,
There's a
uh-huh.
video that he did. What do I mean by that? We think if we're not busy, we're not relevant. We think if we're not busy, that we're not doing anything. We think if we're not busy, then we're missing out. I went to a therapist a couple months ago and I was telling her how I don't feel like I'm being productive. Do you know when she asked me, what does my day entail?
Uh-huh.
She was flabbergasted and told me that I'm overworking, I'm too productive, and I need to be aware because out of all the things I do, there's like the amount of 3 people. But I didn't think I was being productive. She said, LaShana, when do you eat? LaShana, when's your day off? Girl, I looked at my calendar. I said, I don't really have a day off.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I rationalize it. I love working. Entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. It doesn't seem like I'm working. She said, LaShana, it doesn't matter. You
Mm-hmm.
still need a day off.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that was an eye opener for me, but perception is reality.
Yes. Yes, goes
I'm
back.
up here overworking, but I don't think that I'm working enough. Imposter syndrome's telling me that I'm being lazy, that I'm not doing the most, when literally I was overdoing it.
Mm. Now that's a hard pill to swallow. How do you overdo something when you don't even think you're doing enough already?
Girl, listen, but this is the thing. It takes a neutral party to come in and get a snapshot of what you're doing because we're inside of the jar. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm inside of the jar, I can't see the label.
Mm.
If you're on the outside looking in, you can see inside of the jar and you can see the outside because
Mm.
you're a neutral party. So we got to make sure that we're tapping into support people who love us, people who care about us, people who can support us and ask for help so we can get that support.
Now, I've been asking all my guests, studies have shown since the pandemic and even during that depression and anxiety has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
What is your thoughts on that?
I would agree. And I think it's because more people have time with their thoughts, with themselves. Like if you are now working at home, but you used to get in your car, drive to work, sit at work, engage, drive back home, you have minimal time to deal with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I call it feel, deal, and heal. We got more time to feel and we got to make a decision. Do I want to deal with this?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have depression and anxiety if that's your disposition, no matter if you deal with it or not. But it'll get better if you deal with it instead of compartmentalizing it and putting it off till later. And then when crisis arises, everything is knuck if you buck.
Right.
Right? So I'm all about proactivity versus reactivity.
Mm-hmm.
Lower level depression, maybe isolating yourself, sleeping a lot, being disconnected socially. If that's happening, let's ask questions. Okay, this feels weird. Why am I acting like this? Let me see who can support me. If I don't interject right there, it gets worse and turns into other things, that I won't name. So we have to catch things while it's small so we can address it while it's small and it doesn't grow into crisis level if we are able to.
Mm. Well, sis, I love that you came on here and not only dropped one gem, but dropped a lot of gems. Before you go, would you please tell my audience how they can connect with you online?
Sure. So you can reach me at all things LaShana West. It was Miss West Creative Coach, but I'm evolving and it's LaShana West, LaShana West. And also you can find us at Accountability on Demand. That is my one-on-one and group coaching support. I want to thank you again for bringing me on. We covered a lot. I cannot wait to take a peek because this is the thing about coaching, and I've told you this in my community.
Mm-hmm.
As a coach, we get to double dip. As we're serving and sharing, we literally get to engage in our healing journey and our learning journey and in our impact journey because communication is key. And just by us talking about this stuff, literally has changed my day as well.
Yeah, yes, it has. And that's the one thing like you said, you've always said that. So it's like now that I'm actually seeing it and believing it,
Amen.
It's easier to receive. So everything that we used to work with back in the day, and I'm like, she kept telling me this though. She kept telling me, but I couldn't believe it because I didn't believe it in myself. So it's like a lot of those mental blocks stopped me from believing what you were telling me.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you so much for one, believing in me until I believed in me, but two, just continue to drop the gems and doing all that you do.
You are very welcome. Thank you for doing what you do. And thank you for being open because if we're not open, we continue to do the same things and be on that gerbil wheel. But instead, you said, you know what? I'm aware of this. I'm going to do this. And here we are.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Accountability on demand.
Amen.
So, ladies, I hope you enjoyed our interview. Like I said, make sure you guys follow LaShana. I will make sure that I have all her information in the show notes. Until next week, you guys have a great week. See you next time.